Hi, I'm Terry. My pronouns are she and her. I've been in recovery since March 2019, and I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I grew up in a home with parents who suffered from substance use disorders. My father was a heroin addict and alcoholic from a very young age. And my mother, I think as couples get together, she joined in on the heroin usage. So it always seemed like a struggle for her, but not for him because he didn't have any desire to quit, you know. So seeing that in the household was it normalized things. So it made it really normal to see this, the abuse, mental, physical abuse and stuff. And then being trans, I'm transgender.
When did
Transition.
about how old did you start your transition process?
You think about it really early. Like I can recall like six, what I mean, thoughts of it, thoughts of like not feeling, you know, feeling right. Like you feel like I felt more like a girl at the time.
Sure.
And so I started my transition. I started my transition when I was 14 years old.
Okay. Okay. Did you experience any trauma as a child?
Um, no, I can't say so. I mean, I think we were all at the time it was pretty common for you to be, get your ass beat, so to speak, and so I think it's ways of thinking now are different. I think, abuse really doesn't work. It just adds to the problem. But I think that's what they knew. I don't think we were suffering more than anybody else did. So, I was 16 trying to find myself, trying to find where I fit in, so at the time, we didn't have all social media, so the only place we knew where to go were the bars. And we're someone saying, "Hey, this is a gay bar," so you go stand around, and hopefully somebody will help you get in or something like that. And so I met people through that whole networking. Plus, I was a sex worker. I became a sex worker about that age too, about 16, because it's really at the time there weren't many options. Still aren't too many, but there weren't many options for a young trans person in transition, besides sex work. So I became a sex worker, working the streets and stuff. Life was always chaotic. Being a sex worker, the money came very fast. So, I would build up to this grand weekend, save all this money, buy all these drugs, and really stretch it out and stuff. And so, then it's a whole thing of people stealing or you thinking they're stealing. It's all kind of crazy. But shit's missing, because he who have the drug run the party, but also gets shit taken from them, and it's really scary, to think of the scary, frightening situations I've been in, put myself in, that I've put others in, through my addiction. Some of the stuff I can't believe I made it through.
Yeah.
I can remember, all the like crazy drunk and high as fuck doing we're coked out. Me and my boyfriend are arguing, so I'm flying down the street like 100 something miles an hour. Just begging to wrap ourselves around a telephone pole or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And daring him to say anything, and I'd have just,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
was just to prove him wrong.
Yeah.
So it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I've watched my friend OD just sit there, just turn blue right in front of me, and this is before Narcan and stuff. So I did what I thought was best, which is totally probably opposite now. I should have called the ambulance immediately, but I thought I could bring her back, so I threw her in the tub and water and all this shit like that. And so we actually brought her back, and so she thanks me for it, but I probably should have called the ambulance.
Yeah.
Now thinking about it,
Oh yeah.
because a few years later I was in West Virginia trying to buy something from some people I did not know. We go walk into this apartment, and people are running out. So we go in there, and they're like, she's OD'd. And then the pregnant lady says, "I only let her do my wash." So this lady's like about 9 months pregnant. She's still shooting up. Let the lady, rinse it. She can't even come back. And like I said, I was drinking and smoking weed, but I was totally against anyone ever doing coke. Oh my God, I would go off. It was just a big scene. I hated it. Any of my friends doing it, I would just, we just really get on them, right? So I win this competition, and I am booked in Texas, San Antonio, with one of the most beautiful queens ever. Her name is Erica Andrews.
Mhm.
She's Tandy Andrews' daughter, Erica Andrews' mother. I mean, Roxy Andrews' mother. Okay, from RuPaul's Drag Race. Okay, so at the time we really didn't get along too well. But I'm here alone and stuff. So we're running through the bars. We're the beautiful people. We're giving attitude and all this stuff like that. So we go into the bathroom, and then I'm peeing and stuff, and then she pulls out her nail and does this to the other girl. So then it's like here, right to my nose, and it was like, do it or don't. But I'm the beautiful people. We're fierce. We're breaking it up. We're giving attitude. Just So I did it, and then that just really started. That started a whole mess with me. Because I can't just do something just a little. I have to do it till I totally figure it out, and it takes a while to figure this shit out.
So how were your relationships impacted during your use?
For me, I tried to keep it from my family, but you really can't. So then at a certain point, you just open up about it. Like I said, I was a sex worker, so I had access to money. So I really didn't, rely. Actually, they relied on me for money, So what do you say to the person that you're borrowing money from? You need to stop, getting high. Can I borrow $1,000? That doesn't work out. So.
What about relationships with
partners? Most of the people I've been with has always been an addiction. That's the one thing we had in common. And when I got clean, that was the one thing that I lost. Because the guy I was with, he got clean, but he came right back out and started smoking crack like immediately. So that didn't work out at all, and that turned into another nightmare of just begging for money. Things come missing from me, and then I'm not even getting high, and I'm like, this is a fucking mess. And then I realized that we really didn't like each other, all we had was addiction. And you'll find that a lot of times, once you get clean, you'll say, damn, we didn't have shit.
Right.
He would just go hustle up some dope or whatever. I'd hustle, we'd hustle together, you know what I mean?
When did it start to really take over your life?
I think I, like most people, oftentimes kind of timed out. I'm 47 right now, and I was 44 when I finally gave up. It's time for me to give it up and make a change. The hustle was just, you can only go so far. Sex work was being attacked. In general, there was, they shut down major websites that were linked, that people could go make money off of. It made things real difficult. And then I started doing this dumb shit, stealing from stores and stuff, selling stuff. Just this the same downward spiral that happens oftentimes, It's often like if you're on a motorcycle and you don't really, well, I don't, and you see a brick wall ahead and you just keep going and wait until you hit the brick wall. You can't stop until you finally hit the brick wall. But I've been arrested in Asheville with drugs on me through sex work. I have detoxed several times in county jails, which is a fucking nightmare. Because they don't give you anything. They just watch you suffer.
Yeah. Which is inhumane in my opinion.
Yeah, it is.
If you can recall, describe the last few weeks of your addiction.
The last few weeks of my addiction were, me and my little brother didn't talk about it too much. We were extremely close, but I was open about my addiction with him. And then I was ready to make a change. So I had him fly me out to Oakland, where he lived, and in San Francisco at the time. And I stayed with him. I was going to detox there at his house, tough it out and stuff. And so I got there and was sick for a few days, and then insisted that his girlfriend take me to go find some dope, which I could find anywhere. So I found the drugs, and then, I was upset, so I just flew home. He was disappointed. But it was more so I was disappointed in myself because I was ready to make a change. Then I started going through, complete drug-induced psychosis, thinking the dope man's trying to kill me, doing the shit, freaking out, thinking I'm going to die, writing plans for death, who's going to take care of the dog, the cat, and stuff. Those are my major, fears at the time. Who's going to take care of the fucking dog and the cat? And so, then I actually had a case manager who reached out to me and said, "Hey, you should think about going to this place and detoxing." It was, I was just ready to stop. I wasn't getting high anymore. I was just maintaining, or what I thought was maintaining. The life, it just didn't support itself. I couldn't think straight. I was going nowhere. I'm getting older, and I'm waiting for death. So it was either die or change. So
Change it was.
change it was.
How do you maintain your sobriety today?
I maintain my sobriety through the work that I do. I do peer support, and I'm a peer recovery support supervisor right now. And one training I will be this next week. And so just watching and helping people in recovery and not in recovery. I think that's where you really reach out to them, and resources shouldn't be taken away from them because they're not in recovery. Resources should be added.
Yeah.
You give them more help, more incentive, because it's either all or nothing at all, and that's why so many people choose the nothing at all. Yeah.
And then people die.
And they die.
How are your relationships today?
My relationships are pretty good. They're great with my family. I have a great place, an agency I work for, People, Places, and Dreams. Are wonderful. And I'm in a relationship with someone that I've known for 20 years, and we didn't get together in addiction. He's been a great support for me, and I've tried to support him also. Because when we were separated, he went through his own substance use issues, but not together. So
that's great. And
yeah.
He's in recovery today?
He's in recovery.
Fantastic. What dreams have come true for you?
I never thought that any of the drag shows and pageantry and different things I've done in the community would add up to be of value to this day. But it is. And it's because it gave me a platform to speak about my recovery. So people reach out to me all the time to say, Terri, can you help my friend this, or can you help me with that? Even if they just want to talk about it. Because I've reached out to people several times when I was not ready, just asking about it. How does it feel? How did you get clean? How does it feel to be clean? You don't even know how it feels to be clean when you've been, using for so long.
Well, Miss Terri, thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming out to Stella Fest here in Cleveland, Ohio.
It's beautiful.
It's great. It's great. Your story is going to help so many people that think they're alone and that there is no hope. You are proof that there's a way out of addiction.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.